Good morning. It's 11 a.m. on January 22nd, and welcome to Facebook Live. My name is Rich Dunsworth, and I have the honor and the privilege to serve as the president of the University of the Ozarks here in Clarksville, Arkansas. We started doing these periodic updates last spring when we pivoted and closed campus. And we continue to do the updates in an effort to share information, with our families, our students, our alums, and quite honestly, our friends around the world. I have four primary topics today, and then we do take questions live, as well as for the next 2 or 3 days, that if you happen to be watching this after it's posted to Facebook, feel free to add your question, and my colleagues and I track the dialogue that's happening and try to get your questions answered. But like I said, if you have a question now, feel free to put them in, and I'll respond to them here in a few minutes at the end. First classes start next week. And it's been a little weird, to be quite honest. We delayed the start of the semester a week to give everybody a little bit longer over the holiday to give time for hopefully a new normal to happen as it relates to COVID. Know that those of us that have been on campus have been kind of rare and going, okay, when are the students back? When are the students back? When are the students back? So it's been great to see students really start arriving over the last week as it starts to feel like, wow, we're a college campus again. A couple of things that you may find of interest. Earlier this week, we had a vaccination clinic here on campus. Thanks to wonderful support and partnership with one of the local pharmacies, that they came to us and we set up a clinic in the gymnasium, and nearly half of our faculty and staff received the first inoculation, the first shot, as we try to continue or choose to continue to work through the challenges of the pandemic. So that's a really positive thing, and I feel badly for some of my colleagues around the country that aren't seeing that much movement. Here in Arkansas, it feels like folks are really they're getting it done and finding ways to get the vaccine out. So I'm thankful that we have those kinds of relationships and that kind of support here in Clarksville and Johnson County. Let's talk about testing. We asked all faculty, staff, and students to be tested before they returned to campus. And quite honestly, I think we thought that it would be fairly routine, and didn't fully appreciate some of the challenges that especially students are experiencing in their home communities to get tested. So although we've asked for a negative test, we've started building in some secondary protocols. So if you have a test and you're good to go, please make sure you upload that to the portal. The students received an email directly from members of the student affairs staff explaining exactly what to do. If a student is, I'm trying to think of a euphemism that's appropriate for social media, and I can't. If they've done everything they can and they just can't get a test, we understand. So we've set up 2 different testing opportunities here on campus. So on Monday, again, thanks to incredible support from a local health clinic, River Valley Primary Care, they'll be on site noon on Monday to do testing for students that just haven't been able to receive a test. And then on Wednesday, 2 days later, we'll be doing some surveillance testing. And again, it's so that we know what we're dealing with. And the challenge is, as many of you all know, that often college students are asymptomatic carriers. and we don't want an unsuspecting student to put a faculty member or a staff member at risk. So we'll do some additional surveillance testing. One of the questions is, well, hold it, if I'm moving into my residence hall on Sunday and I haven't been able to get a test and I'll get the test on Monday, does that mean I have to go into special quarantine and isolation? The answer is no, but we'd also like for you to, self-regulate. Hey, I know I haven't been tested because I couldn't at home. I'm going to come in, I'm going to get situated, and I'm just going to lay low until I go get tested on Monday, and I'm really going to watch my behavior. We know that students are wanting to get back and spend time with their friends, and it's gorgeous. I mean, if you're here in Clarksville, you know this. The sun's out. It's a bright blue sky. Lay low the first few days until we know where we are, so that we can really take care of each other and continue to thrive. Which in many ways, I think that's what we've done. That's where I am on the testing and the COVID land and the pandemic. Right? We know that we've got some challenges where folks aren't able to get to us quite yet. We know we're going to still have students that need to go into quarantine and isolation. If you've been following winter athletics, you know we've canceled events and we've had coaches in quarantine. We've had players in quarantine. That's another day in the life of a college. And we made a couple of adjustments over the holidays to give us a few more options as it relates to quarantine and isolation spaces. We think we're going to be okay. Many of you heard me say at the end of the semester that we did do some rebalancing of courses going into the spring semester, and that we increased the number of face-to-face synchronous classes because we believe that's what our students needed. We still do have about a third of our classes are online to support that student that needs different opportunities due to COVID. We've continued to make some adjustments as it relates to space on campus. One of the things our students will see is that the fitness centers and the recreation space have returned to fitness and recreation space. We're still going to use some pretty limited time slots of when they can be in there, and it will be staffed all of the time. We'll ensure or request social distancing and masking, but we're going to work to create as many of those social opportunities as possible. So probably one of the most exciting things to tell you about, and if you've been on social media, you've seen some stills of a traco reaching out and grabbing the roof of what were the cottages. If you look closely, the person sitting in there, I got the opportunity to play with great big equipment for about 45 minutes as we knocked down and they started working on the science building. If you were to drive around campus, you're going to see security fences and 3 or 4 bulldozers as they're full bore ahead, full steam ahead to work on the science facility. That construction is going to be an 11-month, $18 million project. And it's going to be amazing, not only for our faculty and our students who will get state-of-the-art science. It'll also position us to continue to evolve as it relates to our curriculum and serving the River Valley and, well, in many ways, serving students from around the world. Again, if you're around campus and you're driving, you're going to see a white building sitting in the Walton Fine Arts Center parking lot. Well, guys, that's the chemistry labs. Those are the chemistry labs for the next 11 months. We brought in a portable lab to set up so that we don't miss a beat even when we're out of a building and in construction mode. For my students, if you're looking for a faculty member that was located in Smith Broyles, before you go looking, just go to the website, pull up the directory, and their new office is in the directory, as they've been repopulated around campus so that we're ready to go even during this time where we've got some pretty major construction going on. So for my alums and friends and families, we're in the last 90 days of the Climb Higher campaign. The Climb Higher campaign 6 years ago set a goal for us to raise $55 million. We have long since surpassed that goal. We're in the last 90 days of the campaign. We'll close it out at the end of March, and we'll celebrate the unwavering support we receive from friends and alums and foundations and people that believe that this place, well, that it should thrive. So thank you for all of your support. I also would be, I guess, reticent to say it's not too late. If you have an idea and you think you want to be a part of the Climb Higher campaign, please feel free to reach out to me or Vice President McBee, and we'll talk about those options. A couple of last things for students. Dining, starting tomorrow, all the different dining options are back open. And you still have the remote capabilities to order to go and pick it up. We will open with some indoor dining as we ended this semester. It's limited. And then we have all of the outdoor dining that's set up, ready to go. So know that we're good to go there. Also notice that the bookstore will be open this weekend, and that I'm told there's some great sales going on over there. You'll also notice that there are mailboxes in the back of the bookstore as we're improving that space and how we support students. That the goal is by the end of the semester that the bookstore will feel to some degree almost like a UPS store. You know, hey, I can get my gear, and there's going to be some change. There are going to be some changes there as it relates to gear. I can get my mail, but I can also then maybe bring a flash drive and get printing and color copies and posters and the kinds of things that students have longed for, and that say, hey, how do I do this? So know that there's some exciting things coming there, and that Vice President Garcia and her folks are working through that. There are also going to be some new employment opportunities as she's expanding the student staff over there. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I think I've hit everything on my notes. Enrollment. Enrollment for the spring is the low 800s, which will make it either the largest or second largest spring semester we have on history. We're very pleased and excited about that. And as I've answered questions before when folks have said, hey, how can we help you? If you're out reading this or hearing this from afar, if you know a 17, 18-year-old that's looking for a college, please feel free to refer folks. Our enrollment staff is figuring out how to recruit without being able to travel the way they once did, and it appears that it's resonating with students and resonating with them well. So I'm going to take a second and slide over and see if there are questions. I appreciate the support, folks, and I appreciate the well wishes. Know that we appreciate it. If you're not able to drive by campus and not able to be here near Clarksville, know that we're doing well. Know that we're doing better than some, and that we're thankful and grateful for that. Know that we continue to have some challenges. I see a question about sports. Sports has been one of the challenges as we've reopened. The athletic team started coming back December 26th. And it's our goal to run 21 different athletic programs in the winter spring semester. Basically, everything we would have done over a 10-month period of time, we're going to try to do it over a 4.5-month period of time. I've had the opportunity to see some of those events. I've had the opportunity to be on a pool deck and watch swimming at one of our sister schools that I think they did it as about as well as they could. Everybody's socially distanced. You had assigned seating. But the challenge is people couldn't watch. You know, in basketball, we've left the gymnasium open. It's got very specific protocols. As you come in, you reserve a seat. You've got places marked off of where you can sit and where you can't sit, and it's gone okay. There are a couple of other schools in our conferences that have said no, we're going to close our gyms. The competition still happens, but the players are playing to an empty gym. As long as people will follow the protocols, we're willing to continue to keep the gyms, our gymnasium open for those competitions. And luckily folks have been pretty good on there. What are the protocols? It's social distancing, it's wearing a mask, it's no food, no drink. And folks say, well, why can't I bring in a food or a drink? Well, because then they take their mask off to eat and it negates the social distancing. So we've just said, hey, for the 90 minutes for the women's basketball game, leave your drink in the car, go out during halftime, have your drink, have your snack, come back in. And we're doing that as a way to not only protect our players, but protect the staff that are supporting the events. Know that those protocols are pretty fluid, and that if you're wanting to support one of our students and going to a away game, be sure to check the away host institution's information, because as I said, some of those institutions have said, hey, because of what's going on in our community, we just can't have guests. Let's see here. Question about PCR test on Monday is just for students. My bet is that if we have faculty staff that have been unable to get a test, let's assume faculty staff can also get a test, unless you hear otherwise. And we know that we've had a couple that need to do that. What is the protocol going to be for baseball? My understanding is protocol is going to be very similar to the kinds of other outdoor events. There'll be somebody at the gate, and I know baseball, it's not really a gate, but when you get there, you're going to see we've put up a few more small wire to encourage people to go through. We'll be screening. We'll be asking for social distancing, and we also know that that's within a family unit. If it's, mom, dad, cousin, and you're in a unit, great, you'll can sit together. But then otherwise, we're going to ask you to spread out and socially distance. If we run into issues with numbers, parents and family will get preference, and that we'll continue to work that out as it changes. Will the new shooting range break ground by April? Where we're looking to potentially, and I'm using language very specifically, potentially put in a shooting sports complex. We first need to do some thinning of some trees, and we need to do some sound tests. So we are on phase for potentially building a space. But because of its location, we still have some testing to do. We know it fits. We know the layout. We think it'll be absolutely gorgeous and this amazing new addition to Clarksville. But we're not quite ready to green light it. It's in a yellow light phase. We're moving with caution. The next phase is it needs to dry out a little bit so we can do some thinning of some of the trees and then run some sound tests. I think I hit all of the questions that I see. When in doubt for any of the protocols, please remember we're on our homepage. If you hit the yellow bar, it'll take you to the COVID landing page where we're tracking not only the statistics but also any changes. Know that it still is a little fluid as things change. As I mentioned earlier, we have great support from the Arkansas Department of Health. We have great support from our elected officials in Little Rock that are really trying to give us room to work. but within safety protocols. And that as we continue to do well, and feel that we're able to deliver on our promises safely, we'll continue to push those guardrails back a little bit, you know, and that if something happens and we need to retreat or pull back, I sure hope you'll be patient and understanding with us, that we're doing it to protect our faculty, staff, and our students. With that, I'll end this the way I have for, well, almost a year now. If it's part of your tradition, offer a prayer for Ozarks. Offer a prayer for the doctors and the scientists and all of the nurses that are trying to support all of us. And offer a prayer for the folks in Washington, as we work through an administrative transition, knowing that almost every day is a new day, and we go, okay, what's going to happen today? Know that we hope we're getting more right than not, and that when we stub our toe and when we make a mistake, we're going to say we're sorry, and with as much grace and forgiveness as possible, we'll move on to the next day or to the next challenge. And that if you've got thoughts on some of our challenges, please offer them. Some of the best resources we've had over the last year, well, it's been our parents that are in an industry that's a week, a month, 6 months ahead of us, and they're able to go, hey, let me show you what we learned. You know, one of my favorite examples is, let me show you what we learned in, I think it was casinos. Let me show you what we've learned in restaurants. Great. Let me show you what we've learned in hotels. Fabulous. And that if we can apply that knowledge here and it makes our struggles a little bit lighter, well, that's just pretty cool. Know that we're thankful, and we sure appreciate you all, and I can't wait to welcome you all back to campus when we know we can do it safely. So take care. God bless. And if you have anything that you need me to address, my email address is rdunsworth@ozarks.edu. Bye-bye.